Hey everybody, welcome back to another podcast. Starting things off strong. Had audio issues right from the beginning, so hopefully we got those sorted out now. Hopefully you can hear me. We were talking about Stalker 2, and we were going to talk from there all the way to politics, so bear with us.
It's
but
okay.
yeah,
I probably should have done a retake of it because I was butchering the beginning. So
no, you were doing great. Either way, we're going to talk about Stalker 2, which Nelson has been playing the last week or so. That just came out. So just as a quick recap, how's the game so far?
I like it. I do like it. I enjoy the atmosphere. I enjoy exploring the game. I think it probably is one of the best looking games that I've seen out there next to Red Dead Redemption 2. And that game came out, what is it, over
What was it,
oh my God,
2018?
6 years ago.
Yeah,
6 years ago. Oh my goodness.
yeah,
I can't do
that's
math at the
crazy.
moment.
So you said you think it looks as good as that game?
I think it's on par with that game in terms of visual fidelity, but Rockstar, the way that they just, I'm glad that they're like pretty much the only studio at this point that actually utilizes their own engine to their advantage to make it easier to develop games for them.
Yeah.
But because, as you know, of course, Unreal Engine 5 at the moment, it's kind of had a really bad track record with unoptimized games.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of them, of course, but I will give the developers uh, a little bit of leeway because they were making this game when their country got invaded by Ukraine, of course. So they're at a war at the moment. They're at war. So they were developing this game while fighting Russians. But
Yeah.
I
Interesting.
mean, I'm almost certain. Oh, well, another thing too, I'm gonna get sidetracked real quick, but they just put out a patch, I think earlier today, and it was like a 16 gigabyte patch or something. Fixed like 600 plus bugs within
Holy
a week.
smokes.
Yeah, they put Bethesda games to shame.
Jeez.
They put Bethesda can only get like 30 out within 2 months.
Wow.
It's crazy, but I applaud them for doing that and for actually getting, even though they're fighting a war at the moment, I applaud them for actually,
Getting it done. G-
yeah, getting it done. I was looking for
Doing
another
all the
metaphor.
development. Yeah,
I know
that's amazing.
they put more effort in Bethesda,
Yeah.
I would say. But I mean, it's a beautiful game. I think if I'm not mistaken, they do use a little bit of photogrammetry in terms of that type of technology. And I'm playing on 1440p. I'm not playing at 4K. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if I had a 4K monitor, I probably all I know is the frame rate on 4K is not great. It's like struggling to get 60 FPS, but I
Yeah.
mean, for me at least, I'm able to hit 120 to 144 frames across the board without really that much trouble. But
On a
my
7900 XTX, right?
7900 XTX 7800 X3D CPU
Yeah.
with I think it was like 4 4200 4200 something megahertz. I don't remember what the term was called, but it's not called megahertz for RAM anymore. Or that's actually not
Mega
what it is.
transfers per second.
Mega transfers per second, that's what
Yeah.
it is. Um, I have that overclocked to 6,000, but
Done
I
a little
mean,
tuning.
it runs good. I have it on my SSD, of course. It runs good.
Yeah.
Um, Only issue that I've been having at the moment, and you know this, we could segue into this if you would like, is
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just having trouble with like the whole CPU temperatures for some reason
Yeah.
because I thought I don't know why, maybe I'm wrong, but when I got my new computer and everything, I downloaded the what is it called? The AMD Ryzen software.
Yeah.
Uh
So
Adre
Adrenaline edition.
Adrenaline edition, yeah. And maybe the monitoring on that is just not great, I guess. It's pretty inaccurate. It's off by like 7 or 8 degrees
Oh wow.
Celsius.
That's pretty significant.
Well, I don't know if whatever type of CPU and GPU monitor I'm using, but it seems to be off a lot. The GPU temperature is accurate though. When I'm playing Stalker 2, I'm averaging like 45 to 55 Celsius, and
Mm.
my computer's pretty quiet, I would say, which is surprising to me, even though I undervolted it. Actually, no, I didn't undervolt it. It's still at 1150, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not trying to flex or anything, but I may be doing something wrong, but I don't know why when I go into that little hub world area in when near the start of the game. I forgot the name of it, but for some reason my CPU temps go from 55 degrees Celsius and it just jumps all the way up to 70. And then it goes all the way back down to 55. And
That's
then it
not
goes
bad.
all the way back. I know, but it's so inconsistent. I don't
Yeah.
get it. I don't know why, but
Well, I've talked to you a lot about the problems I've been having. Um, Apparently, Ryzen 7000 series chips just run hot, and that's just how it is. And AMD says it's fine. They go up to the thermal throttle TJ Max, and then they just stay there. And I have basically the best air cooler out there. It's the Noctua NHD15, and
well,
it's
I have that too, but
yeah, exactly. And it can't handle the CPU. It just stays at the TJ Max, which is ridiculous. So you sent me a video recently that talked about it, and I didn't know that these CPUs just ran hot. I wasn't aware of that. Um, and it's a little unnerving when your CPU is running at 95 degrees Celsius. It's thermal throttling the whole time. Um, so I don't know. I basically stopped using my PC altogether and bought an Xbox because I didn't want to have to deal with that. And this tune that I did, which is you know this is a comment on PC again. Like, it's such a pain that you have to do all this research, and it doesn't just work out of the box. Like, you would hope that you just install the CPU in the motherboard socket and it would work the way it's supposed to, and you wouldn't have to go through this gigantic process of troubleshooting and figuring out why it's not running at a reasonable temperature. Um, but the video, I followed the tutorial, and it helped a lot with temperatures. Now I'm sitting at like 65 degrees Celsius, but um, it's I took a pretty decent performance hit, which is a little unfortunate, and I think that a lot of that's because my BIOS is not the same as the one in the video. So I changed some of the settings, but I couldn't find some of the other ones that would increase the performance and decrease the temperatures as much. So that was a pain, and I still don't. I'm still not 100% confident in this setup, but it's better. I do get stutters on games. Like, I tried Garden Warfare 2 for like 2 hours or something, and it was still stuttering like crazy.
was it a shader compilation or was it a frame time issue?
I really don't know.
Like
It was the
were you getting,
occasional.
were you getting high FPS and then all of a sudden it spikes?
Yeah.
I think that may be a frame time issue. I might be wrong.
Either way,
I
it's a
don't.
pain.
It is a pain because I hate that too. That was the reason why I bought the consoles to begin with, so that
Yeah.
way I could avoid all that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad if Stalker 2 out of the gate ran at 60 FPS on Xbox, I would still be playing it on Xbox and not PC.
Yeah. I
I'm
think
fine.
honestly at this point I just think consoles are the premium experience, because even though you're paying a lower price, you're getting something that's more fleshed out, something that you don't have to spend hours and hours working on um, to get things running right. I think it's just
Well,
the way to go.
well, after the podcast, after I'm done, I'm gonna turn off my PC and boot up the BIOS and just get rid of all those voltage optimizations and just do pretty much what the video said. I know, what was it? That was during, I think, like 2023, I think. when the 7800 X3D and all the other 7000 series CPUs came out was when, for AMD Asus motherboards in particular, there was a huge problem where, you probably knew this. I didn't know. I wasn't aware of it, but it was burning holes in the motherboards
Yeah.
if you had Expo enabled or some type of XMP/EXPO enabled,
Yeah.
which, I mean, I have it enabled. I'm on uh uh my BIOS at the moment is the latest one that came out, which was, let me rephrase that. Last time I updated my BIOS was when I first built this PC, and the latest one when I first built it was back in February of 2024.
Yeah.
So
Not
it's
that
been
long
a
ago.
it's been a while, but I'll update it probably next year in like January or something. I'll probably do that. I don't want to do it right now because I really don't want to hate myself.
Yeah. Well, and the thing you have to know is, well, you have to know to do that. And it's ridiculous. Like Xbox, you just leave, you turn standby on, and then it updates automatically without you even knowing that it updated. So, like, you have to, even computer science majors, even computer science people with computer science degree, they don't buy Windows devices now. They've been buying Macs because the the fact that they're streamlined is what they want. The goal is to get the job done, not to spend endless hours
Tuning.
troubleshooting. Because a lot of the people with CS degrees do IT work and they do that sort of stuff on the daily. They don't want to be doing that when they get home. They don't want to be troubleshooting their own device when they're out at work, trying to troubleshoot a different device. It's just not in the cards, and there's no time for stuff like that.
I
And
know you've been getting, what was it, a couple months ago? I remember you made like some type of video and
yeah,
you were just getting destroyed
yeah, I was
by
getting
people.
eradicated.
And I'm like thinking, you guys think that's just ridiculous. And you're just someone who, like you said, you just want to come home, you want to relax, you don't want to have to troubleshoot,
Yeah,
and you just want to have some fun playing video games. You don't want to get bombarded by people saying, well, you didn't enable this setting. Well, you didn't disable this setting.
yeah,
That's your fault.
yeah,
It's your fault for having hardware accelerated GPU scheduling enabled because that decreases your FPS by like 10%.
yeah,
Like, how was I supposed to know, man?
exactly. Well,
How was I supposed to know?
I've been watching like Linus videos and hardware info and Gamers Nexus and Jay's Two Cents for like the last 6 years. Um, and I still don't know what XMP is. I can't find it in my BIOS. I still don't know what Expo is. I can't find it in my BIOS. I still
So,
yeah.
apparently, that's supposed to overclock your RAM, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't it's just a pain. And
When was, well, out of curiosity, when was the last time you updated your BIOS?
um
Oh, you built
probably the last time I used my computer
it in
for extended periods.
2023, I believe.
Yeah, in 23 I built it. So it was
Okay,
after
so
that. It's
y-
probably the beginning of this year or the halfway through this year.
okay, so you should, in the settings at least. I'll have to come over and we'll check it out if you want, but
Yeah.
it should be in your motherboard settings.
Yeah. But the point is people who own consoles are living like kings because they don't have to deal with all the stuttering and all the issues.
Well, the only issues that console players have to deal with is like bad PC ports over to console, and that's about it.
Yeah. And, you know, loyalists saying that the Xbox or the PlayStation is better than their counterpart for
They're
some
so
reason.
stupid. And look at this, in the exact same room, right next to each other,
Yeah, as it should be.
as it should be. As it
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm pretty unhappy with my PC still. I'm glad that the temperatures are better. obviously, because it's kind of unnerving when you're running so hot. But yeah, overall.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of going back to Stalker 2, I was watching you play it, and I thought it looked really good. And I've heard a lot of people say it's a really good game. I know it was plagued with a lot of issues at the beginning, like console, PC, whatever. There were a lot of bugs.
Yeah, I don't know if they've fixed a lot of the performance issues on Xbox. I'm sure that they haven't. I think most of this stuff was targeted towards just, mainline quest bugs and side
Hmm.
quest bugs, and that's about it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's all it was at this point. But other than that, it was like over 600 plus bugs that got fixed,
it's
which is,
amazing.
I mean, that's amazing. I
Yeah,
mean, I really hope, and I'm sure that they will if they ever get the time to do it, just target, consoles and try to fix the in-game settings on consoles, actually target 60 FPS.
yeah.
Because the problem is, and it's well aware, Digital Foundry made a video on it, of course, it is CPU bottlenecked. But the thing is, for me at least, I don't know if it's because maybe they put out another patch, but even before this latest update, like after the day zero patch came out, I wasn't CPU bottlenecked at all, and I wasn't GPU bottlenecked either. They were pretty, like, they were both running equally as powerful and utilizing each other just fine.
Maybe it
So
has to
my
do with the resolution.
maybe, I don't know. I was running the game at 1440p. I wasn't playing at 4K. Because if I was playing at 4K, I know that I would be probably GPU bound, if anything.
Weren't they talking
Maybe.
a little bit about
Actually,
like different areas being more CPU bottleneck than others? Like they had like a city that you walk through or something, or a town.
that's what yeah, the town that I was talking to you about earlier, I don't know why. That's what I was, where it jumps from 50 to like 70 degrees Celsius all of a sudden. I don't know what the reason is. I don't know if it's thermal throttling. I don't think it's that, but
Hmm. Well, I
it
heard on
can't be.
console it like just straight up freezes for like 10 seconds or something.
Yeah, what was it? 0 FPS for, was it 6 seconds, I believe?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That says it's a pretty unoptimized game, but you know, uh, with all the Unreal Engine 5 stuff, you get a lot of really beautiful games, and a lot of people are getting tired of it. I haven't played a lot of Unreal Engine 5 games. I'm kind of waiting for one that's more my speed, but I don't know.
It's
I'm excited to see
oversaturated.
more out of that engine.
It's oversaturated at this point because it's now in movies and TV
That's true.
shows.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see though more optimization with Unreal Engine 5 because right now it seems like a lot of the games that use it are they don't run well on basically anything. You know, you gotta what is it like 14900K and a 4090 and still have some issues getting up past 60 FPS on some Unreal Engine games.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Like with console, you just buy one every decade, you know. And but with PCs, you can upgrade parts as you go. And the thing is, you're most people aren't going to be satisfied, especially if you're like one of the arms race kind of people. You're not going to be satisfied with the performance you're getting, especially if it's like because games get more demanding as time goes on, and when there's more powerful hardware coming out alongside those games, and you need the more powerful hardware to achieve the frame rates you want at the resolutions that you're used to, that pushes you to upgrade a lot more quickly, especially if you're kind of one of those arms race kind of people. Um, with the console, they make it for the console, and that whether that means you get 30 FPS or 60 FPS, either way, it's going to look fairly decent. And I noticed that in a lot of games nowadays, 30 FPS isn't so bad because they mitigate it a little bit with uh, motion blur and disgusting.
Input latency
Yeah,
and, well, I
that's
will
the
say
biggest
this.
thing though.
Well, I will say this. I would be playing Stalker 2 on Xbox if the motion blur setting actually worked, because
Yeah.
at least with the motion blur setting, it would smoothen it out a little bit. It
Yeah.
does make it a lot smoother. That's why Red Dead 2 on Xbox and PlayStation 4 actually felt relatively smooth,
Yeah.
was because it used motion blur.
Mm.
It's not working on Xbox last time I checked. I'll have to check it again probably tonight if I have the time. I don't know if I will. I got work tomorrow morning, but I'll have to check and see if they fixed it. But
But if they have
the
good input latency on a 30 FPS game, it doesn't feel that bad. It just looks kind of choppy. But it
that's fine.
especially if it's a cinematic game, it's not a problem.
Well, if it's a single player open world game, that
Yeah.
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm willing to forgive.
Cuz we watch
Uh,
movies at like 24 FPS, right?
yeah.
So,
Thing is, though, I thought the whole point of this console generation was 60 FPS was going to be the new standard,
yeah.
and it doesn't seem like that at all because the Unreal Engine 5, it, with all these NPCs running around and everything,
Yeah.
it makes it CPU bound.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I feel like game developers could do a better job making
Well,
sure that
they
games can run at 60.
they encourage you to use upscaling methods, not
Yeah.
even running the game natively anymore
Yeah.
at this point. And I'm thinking, well, okay, if you can't get it to run natively, then that's like a major red flag to me
Mhm.
that your game isn't well optimized.
Well, and I think the other thing is you can have visually impressive games that, you know, aren't like extremely wowing, like aren't the super new stuff that can't push 60 FPS. But you can get a visually impressive game that's kind of an older style, um, running at 60 FPS or even 120, and it'll still look good and people still have a great time. Like I don't think you need cutting edge graphics to have a good quality game that people are going to have a lot of fun on. Um, Garden Warfare 2 is the example for me because it's running on Frostbite 3, and that's pretty old at this point. I think the game came out in 2016, and it's a good looking game. It looks fine, and actually, with the FPS boost on the Xbox Series X, it takes it up to 120 FPS, which is great.
I, I will say this, Frostbite 3 and some of the other Frostbite engines that DICE has used previously,
Yeah,
and some of the other studios that you see with like Dead Space Remake, for example, Frostbite, from what I heard at least from the developers, it is one of the hardest engines to actually work with.
that's funny.
It's one of the hardest engines to actually like understand and learn and optimize and run properly. It's like for people who have been in the gaming industry for like probably over 15 years. That's what it was like designed for, just like the nitty gritty.
Wow, that's surprising.
Well, and it's not, well, here's another thing. It's not surprising on how awful Battlefield 2042 was at launch, of course,
Mm,
because from what I heard, at least in regards to that, I'm getting sidetracked, I know.
no, you're
Um,
good.
DICE, at least, they were going through like a huge, after Battlefield 5 came out, they were already starting plans for development of 2042. And what they wanted to do, I guess, they wanted to update the Frostbite engine so that way it could support up to 128 players, larger scaled maps, and a lot, I guess, an increase in graphical fidelity. Except, thing is, I didn't really notice that much of a graphical fidelity jump or even uh, an improvement in gameplay. Like Battlefield 1 had everything, and in terms of graphics, Battlefield 1 to this day, even though it came out in 2016, it still looks like one of the most photorealistic video games I've seen. It looks amazing to this day. It looks just as good as Red Dead 2. It looks just as good as Stalker 2. Yesterday, my girlfriend, she was watching me play and she's like, "Are you is I can't tell the difference. Is that like real life or is that a video game?
Yeah.
So I thought I
Well, you know, one of the things about Red Dead 2 is one of the things that makes people ooh and ah about it so much is the tiny little details. Like when you walk through a bush, it sways the direction you're walking, right? It
and we know the Steam review, the horses shrink.
Yep, the horse's balls
Sure.
shrink. That was good, of course. And you know, like footsteps in the different things, you know, like sand and mud and all sorts of stuff. It looks really, really solid, and they really made sure that they had tons of attention to detail. And all the NPCs, they have a routine that they go through. They go to different places. They do different tasks at those places. That's really cool stuff, and that's what, you know, immerses people in the environment. Even if it doesn't look well, it is one of the best looking games of all time in my opinion. But it to me, the humans especially don't look 100%. Obviously, they don't look super real, 100% realistic, and that's just
They're
really difficult to achieve.
I
But
would say they're some of the best that we've seen
yes,
so far.
yes,
I would say they are probably the most realistic human faces I've seen in a long time for a
yeah.
video game.
Well, and then again, that's a testament to, you know, not needing the most cutting edge technology in your games. Like that game could probably run 60 FPS on the Series X, no problem, but it doesn't. It because
Oh,
they've
without a doubt.
yeah, they've capped it at 30 because that's what they had it at for the last console generation, and it's just a port.
Well,
So
and you know, Rockstar takes their sweet time when optimizing games and everything. I mean, what is it? Until now, we just got Red Dead Redemption 1 on PC. And
yeah.
I think part of that was because the game from was designed on the Xbox 360, like frame what's the right like the framework of the
Oh,
Xbox
sure.
360.
Yeah.
They had a I don't know what it was, but in order to port it onto PC, I heard it was challenging.
Mm,
I
interesting.
don't know. I don't know what they used for it, but what I do know is that that game is so old that you can run a what's it called? Not a virtual machine. What's it called? A emulator. That's what it
Oh,
is.
mm,
You could emulate it on PC. But
that's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, are we ready to move on to the next topic? Because I do have something that's kind of interesting. I have
yeah,
two somethings that are kind of related. So if you look at my screen, uh, this is cool. I've been watching videos about this for the last week or so, and if you don't know Homo erectus, this is like completely different topic. This is kind of human history sort of stuff.
complete 180 from what we were just talking
Yeah,
about.
way back in the day, but I just thought this was interesting. Homo erectus was one of our relatives, one of our ancestors. You know, one of the predecessors to Homo sapiens, which is what humans are. And it says here that they were alive from around 2 million years ago to 100,000 years ago. So basically, the range is between 1.5 million years and 1.9 million years that they were around for, which is insane to think about. Like humans have been around for like, I don't know, maybe 100,000 years, probably not even that much. I don't know. Let's look this up actually. I have to look this up.
Well, I mean, as you know, for biblical history, it's usually they estimated that the Earth was around 6,000 years old, but I mean, 6,000 years then could have been different than, I guess, in the present time. That's what is it? I hear a lot of pastors make that claim.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is based on like carbon dating and bone evidence and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, the Bible, I think, is kind of a different story, and a lot of the things in the Bible to me are um, they're stories and examples for getting the point across. You know, um,
Hmm.
so the timeline to me is not something that's set in stone, but that's up for anybody's interpretation. That's just what I think. So I tend to try to, take the good and the bad from both and sort things out. Um,
Yeah.
but this is cool. 200,000 years humans have been around for that long, but Homo erectus around for pretty close to 2 million years, which is absolutely ridiculous to think about. Like, if you imagine how much we've done in just the last 100 years, we've gone from um, horse and buggy to crazy cars, electric cars, um, phones in everybody's hands. There's a pretty drastic change that's happened in the last hundred years, let alone last 2, 3, 4, 500 years. It's insane how much has changed in just the last few hundred years. I can't imagine being on Earth for almost 2 million years. How crazy would that have been? Like, sure, we've been around for, what is it? Does it say 100? What is this? Homo erectus. Uh, between three, so 100,000, 200 to 300,000 years ago is when this says we arose on Africa. So that's still a really long time, and it's almost hard to think that no technological, no extreme technological advancements happened during that time. But I guess it's kind of like a Minecraft world, right, where you start
Oh
with.
my god. When was the bow and arrow invented?
That's a good question. Let's find that one out too.
When was that invented? Because when that happened, that changed warfare. That changed modern combat at during those times. Wasn't it? It wasn't during what era was it?
70,000 years ago, maybe. So it seems like one of the biggest things about humans is the ability to use tools.
So it was invented in prehistoric times with
Yeah,
archaeological evidence suggesting that they may have come into use sometime between the upper, I'm not even going to pronounce that, Mesolithic era, approximately 10,000 years ago.
yeah,
Every continent except Australia.
yeah. That's crazy. It's you know that's a big thing for humans. It Without tools, we aren't very capable. As we have to have housing, we have to have tools to build things and get things moving, right? So we do have big brains, but that can only get us so far with strategy and stuff. Anyway, Homo erectus two
Before
million
that
years
was
ago had,
before that it was spears and yeah.
yeah,
Sorry, I didn't mean
spears
to
and stuff.
interrupt.
Yeah, they had the atlatls, right? They had the
What does
spear.
an atlatl look like? Am I
I
stupid?
think it's one of the. It has a like a curve thing, and it looks like a spoon, and then you. How does it look?
Oh, it's a spear thrower.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, launches the spear.
That's
Um,
just a Nauticus, a modern version, a prehistoric version of the Nauticus.
I don't think I've ever heard of a Nauticus. Oh,
Oh wait, no, that's not it.
arrow.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. Anyway, Homo erectus had access to tools. They had big enough brains. Like, I think in one of the videos I was watching, they
A
said,
harpoon? I think that's what it
"Oh
is.
yeah,
I don't.
harpoon. There you go. Launches the spear. Eh, yeah, sure." Um,
Anyways,
they had access to tools and they had brains that I think they said it was like 85% of the size of the human brain, which is pretty crazy. And maybe they weren't wired the same as ours are, but
well, they weren't stupid. That's one thing.
yeah, they weren't stupid. And I don't know.
They
It's
didn't
just crazy to
talk
think that these things were on Earth for for so long. And
What do you think the reason was why they didn't evolve within that time span?
like what technologically?
Like natural selection and that also.
Um, it's a good question. I don't know. Maybe like there's evidence that they had stone tools and the ability to make spears and that sort of stuff. But um, I maybe they just didn't have the wiring there in the brain to get things to where they needed to be. Like the reason humans were able to evolve technologically was because we had all the basics down good enough that we were able to spend time thinking about stuff and put some of our energy into that instead of worrying about where our next meal was going to come from. So I think that's a big thing. Um, as far like I have no idea why they're not still around today because being around for 2 million years, like can you imagine what it's going to be like 1.8 million years from now? We'll be around for 2 million years by that point. I almost think most people I think uh don't believe that the earth's going to be around for that long. Like they think that the earth's going to be decimated within the next 100 years or so. So I
No, I don't think that. I don't think it's going to be gone within the next 100 years.
yeah, but a lot of people do. A lot of people think nuclear what's the decimation is on the horizon. So I don't know. I don't. I'm not inclined to believe that. I think humanity is smart enough to maintain some level of self preservation.
Change the trajectory for the better.
Yeah, I mean, if Russia hit us with a nuclear weapon, are we gonna retaliate? I that's not better for humanity. If we do, we kill the whole species or we kill half the species.
Well, I mean, the obvious, I think we would retaliate in terms of like defense, but
Well, it
yeah.
almost doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's a standoff at that point, no?
Well, to me, if we want like the ultimate goal is to preserve as much of humanity as possible, right? And give humanity the best chance of um, continuing on well into the future.
Hmm.
So if we're hitting them with a nuclear weapon after they hit us, that's just that's just counter to the goal. It's almost like we just have to take the L, to me, because if we retaliate, that's a higher chance of destroying all of humanity instead of just most of humanity. So I don't know. It doesn't seem it
I
seems ill
mean,
advised to me.
well, if they attacked us, then and other nations would retaliate, of course. It'd be
Yeah,
an act of war.
maybe. Yeah, if it was ongoing afterwards, like I don't know, maybe, but it the loss of life
Well,
just seems so catastrophic that would be.
well, okay. Well, if Russia attacked the United States
Mhm.
and the United States didn't retaliate, it would still be considered under NATO an act
Sure.
of war.
Yeah.
So NATO, of course, would retaliate with nuclear weapons.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if the governments went after Russia for nuking us, but it doesn't seem like the best decision to me because it's just
To retaliate?
yeah, it's just increased loss of life. It's just dooming humanity versus you know giving
So
humanity a
then,
chance.
okay, well, then why would Russia attack to begin with?
I don't know. They don't like us. Why would we? Why would anybody
Well,
attack anybody? They want
we,
more land. They're imperialists. I don't know.
we don't like them.
Well, we have a complicated relationship with them. I would say.
Well, obviously, but
Yeah, our governments don't really get along super well.
Well, the people do, but not the governments.
Yeah, I think if you had like if you randomly selected 30 Russians and randomly selected 30 Americans and had them battle it out or talk to each other, they would just say, what are we fighting for? I don't know. I don't think
Well,
that.
realistically, it's just politicians.
Yeah,
That's about it.
warmongers
It
and politicians, etc.
that's about Well, you have, of course, Liz and Dick Cheney.
Yeah,
I mean, they are probably the two biggest warmongers that I can think of off the top of my head.
yeah,
I think they're the
definitely.
worst when it comes to that.
But here's the thing: humans want to be around for as long as possible. That's kind of the goal. We have a self-preservation sort of thing. Um, so I'm hoping that kind of gets in the way of any extreme war, and I don't think like back in the day, uh, World War I, um, they had all these new weapons, and everybody wanted to try out their new weapons because it was cool. And they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna have a great war. It's gonna be one of the best wars of all time." And they
Love that.
tried out, they tried out all their weapons. They were like, "Yeah, we're ready and raring to go." I don't think that's how it is nowadays. I don't think anybody wants to go to war anymore, except for the people who make money off of it. People know nowadays that if you go to war, that means that's it. It means nuclear annihilation. It means it's over. And most
Yeah.
people I don't think want that. Uh so yeah, I thought I was just watching that, some of that stuff on Homo erectus this week. we got
Did you come across?
into politics a little bit, but I thought it was cool, especially since they had been around for so long and they were like at least 80% as smart as us. It's pretty crazy to think about, how long our, you know, relatives of us have been around. And especially like the running theory is that Earth is like 8 billion. No. How old is it? I'm
It's
gonna
flat. That's the first thing.
Yeah, it's flat. That's right.
Earth is flat.
How old is the Earth? Da-ba-da. Oh, I got it wrong. Four and a
Four and a
half
half
billion
billion.
years or so. That's a long
I
time.
mean, I don't really, I don't know if it really is 4.5 billion
Yeah, I
years
mean,
ago. Well, sorry, not ago old, but
yeah.
I think one of my biggest conundrums, I guess you could say, and I guess you could also infer that, well, it wasn't as important or anything, but I'll get to the point. Um, Dinosaurs were not ever mentioned at all, if I'm not mistaken, in the Bible.
Sure.
Is it because it just wasn't deemed important to document that during that time period, or was that long ago and that really wasn't all that relevant during that time? Because
Uh,
there
yeah.
is there was evidence of dinosaurs on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Museums reveal that, of course,
Yeah.
and a lot of archaeologists reveal that type of stuff. But that's probably one of my biggest questions. What, did they not
You
go
know,
on Noah's Ark or something? Or
God is omnipotent. He knows everything. And I think
yes,
I think like if he revealed dinosaurs to the people that lived back then, their minds would be absolutely blown. And I think
yeah,
there are plenty of things that he could reveal to people like us now that would
yeah,
that would absolutely destroy the way we think about everything. And I think it could have been withheld information, or it could have just been the Bible. The purpose of the Bible is to teach us the best ways to live. You know, what's the acronym? Basic instructions for living. Uh, Something like that. I don't know.
Biful,
What?
basic instructions for living.
It was like that. Basic instruction.
Biful,
Basic instructions.
Bifl,
I gotta look this up now. Bible
Bifl.
acronym. Uh, Basic instructions before leaving Earth.
I see. Okay.
Basic instruction book for living on Earth. Yeah, so there are a few different ones. But yeah, that's what it is to me. It's a good description of the human condition, what it's like to be human. Um, it uses a lot of stories, a lot of things that did actually happen. I think there are a lot of things in the Bible that did actually happen. Of course.
Well, there's a lot of historical evidence that suggests that a lot of
Yes.
the, I mean, say what you will, uh, one that comes into my mind is Sodom and Gomorrah,
Yeah.
the pillar of salt.
Yeah.
There is actual evidence. I forgot what location it was in, but there is, I remember I saw like a video of it, and you could on Earth actually. I know a lot of scientists like to, uh, what's the best way of putting it? Disregard that evidence or something along those lines and say,
That's
well,
part of the problem.
that's just a random, that's not even,
See,
there's no way that could have been there for over 6,000 years.
yeah.
And I like to think, well, the description seems pretty accurate,
Yeah.
and there is a couple of pillars of salt.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
See, the thing is, a lot of scientists write off the Bible because they see it as archaic and as
Bill Nye
something
comes
that's
to my mind.
yeah, something that's mythological,
Well,
something
and
that's full of
they think
stories
it's,
that didn't happen, right?
they think it's magical.
Yeah.
One of the things that comes to my mind, of course, is Bill Nye's argument about Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's no way that how old was he? 600 years old, I believe,
Mm.
like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
There was no way a man could live that long and
Yeah.
make an ark and put all these animals on there
Yeah.
and
See,
be at the and the earth flooded for over 40 days. And I think,
yeah.
well, but if you pay attention to like the scenery within America and the Grand Canyon, apparently I found out the Grand Canyon actually is a historical indication or a piece of evidence that the earth was flooded
Mm.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
have a source, but that's what I heard at least. And I like to think it's true because I mean, yeah, that does make sense to me.
yeah. I think the moral of the story is don't write off one thing for the sake of the other.
No,
If you're a scientist, don't write off the Bible because you believe in science. And if you're a theologist and you study the Bible and religion, don't write off science completely because I think if you do that, it's narrow-minded, it's short-sighted, and I think there are good things that can broaden our understanding of where we came from, and um, and broaden our understanding of the universe in both the Bible and in science. I think both can provide really good insights into uh, human history and the history of the universe and the Earth. I think both have really valuable things to offer.
I think what's his name? Pastor Cliff Nechtel, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I forgot how to pronounce his last name. You know who I'm talking about, where he goes on to college campuses and he talks about Jesus and he answers questions to a lot
Yeah,
of
I think
college
so.
kids.
Yeah, yeah,
He's what is it? I think he pretty much explained it best, like what you just said, of course,
yeah,
where he said, well, I don't know how old the earth is. The Bible suggests that it's 6,000 years old, but I'm not so sure. I'm not so certain of it.
yeah,
So what do? I look to science, and it looks like it lines up properly.
yeah. I
Like
mean, we shouldn't ignore
the Bible,
information.
the Bible can't answer, questions like that, of course.
Yeah.
Am I wrong to say that,
Well,
or
I think some of the things that were in the Bible were put into perspective for those that were reading it back in the day. You
that's
know,
it? That's what I meant.
and not that that invalidates the things that the Bible says, just that it um, means we need more information.
It's not dated.
Yeah,
I'll say that. It's not outdated or anything.
yeah. I think to me it says, hey, it says this. We should continue to look for information. We shouldn't ignore information. We shouldn't write off what the Bible says, and take in as much as we can and make our judgments from there. And if our judgments are wrong, who cares? Who cares? Who actually cares? Because it doesn't matter as long as you're living your life based on strong principles that don't harm other people. I don't see how it makes a difference. The biggest things that the Bible says for me are those that put my life on the correct path, on a straight path, on one that's aimed at bettering the world.
Yeah.
So I think some of the arguments going back and forth between the scientific community and the biblical community are frivolous. They're
Well,
unnecessary, superfluous.
I think it's mainly for oh my gosh, Judeo-Christians especially. I do think it's only targeted specifically towards them
Mm-hmm.
and no other religious groups, because if you dare bring up an opposing argument to someone who is, let's say, Islam or Muslim or Hindu
Yeah,
or any of the other religions, if you bring up an opposing view or argument, or you just get completely slandered. Like it's not okay to, because it comes off as disrespectful, I guess.
yeah,
But it's so easy to bash on, you know, just Christians.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah. I agree with that a lot, and I
I
think
do.
I think people need to keep in mind the idea that ideas are there to be critiqued and fact checked, and if better ideas come along, and they are proven and they are, I don't know, more accurate, then those should be taken into account. Maybe not, um, you know, followed religiously, because that can end poorly in a lot of scenarios. Um, we had this whole thing during COVID with trusting the experts. Everybody said, trust the experts, trust the experts, trust the experts. And a lot of the expert opinions were one sided. They ignored information. They they weren't for the better of all in the community. Like for people who took the COVID vaccine, for example. I don't know, we're getting into politics, but um, the COVID vaccine was effective for a lot of people, but it was unnecessary for a lot of people. Like young people, 25, 30, and under, really didn't need to take it at all because um,
And I
healthy
took it,
immune system.
and the
Yeah.
reason why, well, part of it was, I mean, I'm not gonna say it. Well, you know what? I am gonna say it because this is the podcast. I'm not gonna let what other people say affect me, but I was peer pressured into taking it.
Hmm.
I just was. I'll
Well, and
admit
it
it.
made you really sick. It
And
was
I did it out,
unnecessary.
well, I did it out of spite too, so that way, because I was taking matters into my own hands.
Yeah.
But
Well, we wanted to get the school off our backs and
well, that
all the people
too.
that were pressuring us.
Well, the point of it, I thought the initial point of the vaccine was to, okay, you take this, you don't have to wear the mask.
Yeah.
And look, I don't have I mean, look at me. I'm wearing a mask right now. I don't care. I mean, it it's just I thought the whole selling point of that vaccine was, oh, if you get the vaccine, you don't have to wear the mask anymore. You're basically safe. But and then a couple weeks or even a month afterwards, like, no, you still need to wear it because you can still affect other people. You're still just as contagious. And I'm thinking, well, then what was the point to begin with? Oh, you're just more resilient to it.
Yeah.
So they just changed the narrative.
Yeah.
And that's why, look, call me an anti-vaxxer and everything, look, or an anti-masker or whatever, but after I got it, I did everything in my power to stop wearing it. And then guess what, Logan? We still had to go to school wearing the mask,
Yeah.
even when I was vaccinated. Did you get vaccinated?
Yeah, I got 2 doses.
Okay, so I think I got the Pfizer.
Yeah,
So
I did
you
too.
do, yeah, and then you wait 2 weeks to get the second one. So first one I got, I was all right.
Yeah.
I seemed to be all right. I felt a little, queasy, but that's about it. That was normal. I expected that. But second time around, I don't know if it was bad timing. I talked to my doctor about it and I went through a whole bunch of like MRIs, CAT scans, and I think it was a CAT scan, if I'm not mistaken. But um for I think it really was just bad timing. I think I had an ulcer developing
Mm.
in my stomach. And when I got that vaccine, it just completely tanked my whole entire digestive system.
Yeah.
The doctors that I was talking to, they said, "Oh, your spleen's a little bit enlarged," but I don't think that really was a symptom related to it. I think that was just something that just happened all of a sudden, and that's it. But I think I don't think the vaccine like caused me to have that type of sickness for months on end and days on end. I don't think it was that. Because I will say, the morning after I got the shot, I was during that morning I was just throwing up acid essentially.
Mm.
It basically was stomach acid. I don't mean to get vulgar or
That's pretty bad.
anything. It,
No,
it
that
was
that
it,
that's
wa-
the worst.
it was acid,
Yeah.
but I was looking up the symptoms and everything and I couldn't find anything. I couldn't figure anything out. I'm like, COVID-19 vaccine and acid.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything related to it. The only symptoms were nausea and potential vomiting, and that's about it. But but every single morning it was waking up with stomach pain and then waking up with stomach pain. But at around like midday, that's when the stomach pain would go away and I'd be like back to normal.
Yeah.
And then the cycle would repeat.
Mhm.
The symptoms lasted for about 6 months, and now I wake up in the morning and I'm perfectly fine. I can eat. I'm able to eat now properly. I had to learn how to eat again. I lost like what was it? 20, 25
Yeah, you
pounds, I
lost a
think.
lot of weight,
I know. I was around like
and you were
155.
already light.
Well, but the problem that I'm facing now is I can't gain any weight. I've increased my intake I increased my calorie intake. So I'm averaging like what, 2,500 to 3,000 a day now at this point, and I can't even gain any weight.
Mm. That's weird. See, I eat
I know
about
it's
that much, and
I know it's above 2,000. I
I'm
know
going up.
for a fact. I ensure that I have over 2,000 calories a day. And for breakfast, it's about 400 to 600 calories. And then lunchtime, probably the same amount.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I can't gain any weight.
Yeah.
Um, but I know I'm going down the rabbit hole with this whole COVID thing, but
No.
I don't think that I don't think that vaccine really had anything to do with those symptoms that I had. I think it just made it worse. I do
Well,
think it
yeah.
I think it made symptoms worse.
Regardless, like the whole thing during COVID was if you're not with the mainstream ideas, if you're not following them, if you're not subscribing to everything that the professionals are saying,
The
um,
view.
and you're not following the masking and the vaccinating protocols religiously, then you're wrong, you're evil, and you deserve to die. And I think that's completely ridiculous. Like, how can any how can anybody say that? They're saying, "Oh, we're trying to protect you and everyone around you," but then they say, "If you don't follow what we're telling you to do, you deserve to die." That's I've always thought that was the craziest thing that's happened. You know, in the U.S. for the last, I don't know, 100 years, I don't think anything that insane has happened. Um,
Well, I mean, there was the Spanish flu, but I don't know if that had an impact on the United States.
I think it did a little bit. I don't
Did
remember.
it?
Yeah, influenza. I think it did. That was the last big. Um,
We have influenza vaccines, I think, still.
yeah,
No? Or
I
am I
think we do.
stupid?
Uh, I don't know. But regardless, throwing out ideas, um, is just a bad idea. Like you shouldn't throw out ideas.
You know what's interesting is I remember when the vaccine first got out, there was a lot of, look, I know I'm getting into politics, but liberals were completely against. They're like, I'm not taking a Trump vaccine.
Yeah,
And then what was it after
the narrative
a couple months?
completely changed.
Yeah, the narrative completely changed, and all the liberals, with the second they switched to in support of pharma,
Yeah,
that was probably the most shocking news that I've seen.
that was a shocking political shift.
That was a shocking political shift. The second they switched over to big pharma and all the stuff that you see on the TV ads and everything, that was shocking to me
Yeah,
because usually it's the right wing billionaires that are in support of all that.
yeah, yeah. Liberals, traditional liberals, have always been strongly against large corporations,
And they flipped it,
especially
like the
including
whole
pharma.
narrative got flipped, like right then and there.
Yeah,
And now all of a sudden I'm being forced into taking something that I question. And if
yeah,
I question it, if I dare question it, all of a sudden I'm labeled as an anti-vaxxer.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Look,
It's ridiculous.
I got nothing against vaccines.
Yeah,
I think it is important.
yeah,
Babies, of course, need vaccines
yes, yeah. I'm
because
I'm
you want.
I'm firmly convinced that most vaccines do help a lot of people.
Yeah,
But the fact that we were required to take them was ridiculous, and the narrative and the the whole thing, it was just a mess. I hope we learn from that. I don't think we will.
I don't. Well, it was surprising to me to how susceptible people were to it.
Yeah,
Like they just, what was it for California especially? 1 month, people had the masks on and everything, and then next month it was off, and then some people had them on, and then it went back to like fully wearing them again.
yeah,
And then people use the argument, well, it's up to the store owner because if you don't have a mask, you're not welcomed. And then that's fine.
yeah,
I don't have an issue with that. Go ahead. I mean, it's your business. You can run how you want, but is it just to be safe to be in compliance with like the ongoing laws at the moment, or I don't know.
yeah. To me, it's like
It's
part of a
I just
delusion.
didn't I just didn't like the fact that you were given dirty looks even though you had like even though you did get vaccinated and
Yeah,
you were safe and protected,
yeah,
but oh, you're still able to spread it to other people who even have the vaccine or don't have it.
right. Yeah, I
It was just gaslighting
I
at its
was I was
finest.
not happy with 2020 and 2021.
Oh, you know what was I you know what I thought? I thought it was pretty funny. We didn't care. We did not care during that time. We got together. We didn't care at all.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what? Forget this. We're gonna die. So we might as well die together.
Yeah. If we're gonna
Well, what was
die, we're
it?
gonna do it together.
I remember was it in January, I think, or something? I'm pretty sure it was. Do you remember what's his name? Evan, I think that's his name. That Asian kid who keeps flip-flopping his on the political spectrum.
Yeah.
One day, because I remember he used to be like super far right, and then he went all the way to far left. And I think he's still far left. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Maya
know.
told me about it and everything, but um, I remember what was it in the morning before PE class when we were in like the cafeteria room just sitting at the tables. He was talking to me about what was happening in Wuhan, China, and I'm like, what on earth? He's like, if you're 20 feet over there, it can, it's a, what's it
Airborne
called?
virus.
Airborne virus, yeah.
Yeah.
And you could get
Yeah, that was sophomore year in the gym.
That was sophomore year in the gym, and
Zero
I
period.
remember I just looked at you, Logan. I'm like, look, if we die, so be it. I'm fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it, it was crazy. It was funny though. I remember that. That was good.
I'm like thinking to myself, I don't know,
What
man,
is this
because
conspiracy theorist talking about? And then
you know,
it
it turned
comes
out
over
well.
here and everybody goes crazy.
Well, the biggest thing was, uh, it happened in like the first reportings of it was in Seattle. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, maybe.
The second, what was it? The second the Trump administration heard about it, they cut off and closed all like airlines from Eastern European countries, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it was other nations around the world
Yeah.
or the ones that surround the North American continent as well. But he got labeled badly
Yeah.
for doing that. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure any other sane leader would cut ties with a nation that is having an ongoing,
Health epidemic.
respiratory virus
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I I don't think it was racist. I just don't. To me at least, it didn't come off as racist,
Yeah. You know what?
but
Speaking of conspiracy theories, I'm going to do
that
a
was
hard shift here
nuts.
again.
Yeah.
Um let's talk about Bigfoot.
Oh, we want to talk about Bigfoot? Yeah.
I've been
Is this
watching all the
man?
conspiratorial stuff this
Is
week.
this a is this considered a Mandela effect or no?
Um I don't know. I don't think so.
Maybe. Well, this and Skinwalkers, I think, is the most interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen Skinwalker videos on YouTube?
Not many. I think I've seen one or
There
two.
was a there was a crazy. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up, but there was a crazy one that I saw a while back where this guy was on his dirt bike and he couldn't get it to start, and he
Ooh.
was just in the middle of the woods. It was almost dark out, and he could see out in the distance like it was like some type of creature. And I'm getting goosebumps talking about it right now, but it was
Spooky
Skinwalkers or
spooky.
something. It was scary as heck. Yeah, never turn off your dirt bike in the middle of the woods.
Yeah. Well, I saw
Leave that
this
on.
video. This video was about Bigfoot, and this lady encountered him, or she thought she did. Her dad, like, it was turning on and off the lights, and it laughed, and it stuck its hand inside their house, and the dad came running downstairs, and he shot his shotgun and scared it off. That was kind of interesting. It's a creepy video if you want to watch it. This guy's name is Bob Gimlin. And then I also saw this one this week. He used to work at a hotel, and he would do the night shift. He would go around sweeping the place,
Hmm.
and this was crazy because he was taking pictures around the hotel, just doing his rounds. He got a new iPhone. He wanted to take pictures, and he took this picture in the thumbnail, and you can see there's like a person sitting in that chair, and he would go around and look, and there wouldn't be anybody there, and then in the picture there's somebody there or something, and that's pretty creepy.
Do you think it's a ghost or?
Yeah, he thinks it's a ghost, and he took another picture of a window, and you could see a figure moving behind him as well. It was really really creepy. This video, this is giving me goosebumps too, but this, like, I don't think I don't think there are ghosts, and I don't think there aren't ghosts. Like, I think there's a possibility that they
There's one.
exist, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did exist, and I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. That's how I think. And I think the same thing about Bigfoot. Like, this is I don't know. What do you think about like stuff like this, ghosts and Bigfoot?
Well, I love this type of stuff, especially watching it late at night before going to bed.
Oh yeah, dude. I watched it right before I went to bed, and I was cowering in fear, dude. I was looking out
And
my
it's,
window. I was like, Bigfoot, don't come into my window. Cause he like reached through the window, and he was turning on and off the lights and staring through the door. It was creepy. Yeah, you want to show us this video you got?
yeah, so I think it was this video right here, but
Already passed it a while ago, but that tree is gone.
two ways. Holy crap, dude, this trail goes on forever. It just got really quiet really fast.
Dude!
This is stuff of nightmares, my man.
Go, man! Gosh!
Run for your life.
That was my cue to leave.
Dude, that is just, oh my gosh.
There's so much unknown stuff about this world, I feel like, and yeah, sometimes it gets really, really creepy.
The Second Amendment is your best friend out in the middle of the woods. It is 100%. This is no.
Warning
When I go-
shots.
No. No warning shots.
No warning shots, just straight up.
No, I don't do warning shots. You know what's also I saw a comment on a video similar to this. It was like 2 or 3 other guys out in the woods and they had their flashlights on.
Yeah.
The thing is, you can't see them. Like, you could see their eyelids, like their eyes,
Mm.
out in the distance. You can't really see them, but they can see you in the dark. It's
Yeah.
that
If you're holding a flashlight, people can see you.
Yeah. What is it? Yeah, you can't see them that well with the flashlight.
Yeah.
Because it's only focused on one specific area. But
Yeah.
what is it?
They can see the light
not
from all angles.
I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm
Yeah.
afraid of what's in the dark.
Yeah.
That's where it goes back to, at least. Let me see if I can find that video. I'll let you.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, I think there's a possibility that well, of course there's stuff that we don't know about. That's I don't know, lurking in the shadows, sitting out there. I just like with the ghost type of stuff, I just like to imagine that they're like these ghosts hanging around just chilling, and they're like they're like, I don't know, just trolling people. Cause that's what I would do if I was a ghost. I'd just go around messing with people. I think that'd be kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. All the Dirk Bite videos. I've seen, you know what? I have seen a couple of these. And, you know, regardless of whether they're like true or not, whether they're fake, I don't know. It's always fun to watch them.
Is it a creepypasta?
I don't know.
That doesn't classify as one, no?
I'm not sure.
It's this guy, Dr. Scary. This is my source of my income of scary videos.
Yeah, this is like FNAF for people that just want to be scared of the real world. Because I remember back in the day when Five Nights at Freddy's was extra scary.
So one of the comments on this video was, "This guy's running like a Rainbow Six Siege operator."
Oh my gosh! Do.
And as he goes deeper into the woods to explore, he hears this.
I'm not sure if you guys ever seen the Blair Witch Project, but damn, this is just giving me Blair Witch Project vibes. Super cool. Imagine just being lost out here. It feels like this would never end.
Oh.
Oh, hi. What the hell? I need to get out of here. Oh boy. It could have been campers, but this area is extremely secluded.
He's running like a siege operator.
Do.
I need to find camp. I'm completely disoriented right now.
What a nightmare.
They say the worst thing.
Okay, well, let's so there was a video also similar to this where you could hear that same like noise, "I see you."
Yeah.
Apparently,
Mountain lions.
Mountain lions and bobcats, from what I
Ooh.
heard. So
That's scary too, though.
don't even bother. No, I
Yeah.
ain't doing that. No, I'm good.
See, the thing that's extra scary for a lot of people is those moments where you're supposed to be alone and you're not. You don't feel like you are. And that is like ultimate scare factor is when they've got encounters where these people think they're alone and they're just supposed to be out in the middle of nowhere, and suddenly there's either someone or something that's out there with them, and it's pretty creepy. But
There
yeah.
was a video. There was another video that I saw.
What
It
about?
was
Oh,
it was this one right here.
Oh, just some cruisers, man. That's crazy shit. This guy's crawling at me like he's got. What's up, dude?
make sure you got your shotgun.
That's a skinwalker. That's a skinwalker. You can't convince me otherwise, dude.
Some of this stuff's so easy to fake, but it's still
I
fun.
know. But yeah, that's scary though to me at least.
Yeah.
There was what was it? That reminds me of another thing. I'll just say this. There was these two bikers. They went out on a trail. They just went dirt biking on a trail, and they just encountered just like homeless or random girl out in the woods, and it was one of like the FBI's like not most wanted, but like missing persons.
Mm.
Like it's a girl that went missing a couple of years back, and they just found her wandering. They believe they found her, and then they got so scared of her just seeing her out there in the middle of the woods walking around.
Yeah.
I think she went barefoot or something,
Mm.
and he went to go back to one of his bike buddies, and she was gone by the time they came back to look for her.
Whoa.
And they called the Los Angeles Police Department, I think, part of that county, and they couldn't find her at all.
Mm.
Let
See,
me
that's
see.
crazy stuff. Oh, yeah. So if you have time, or you're just laying in bed before you go to sleep, go watch some of these spooky videos because they are fun. They spook you right before bed. They give you that childlike feeling of fear.
But it was a
outskirts of town when suddenly they see a girl walk.
Oh, weird.
and then she just went missing for 4 years.
That's crazy.
Now, it's not confirmed. This case hasn't been closed yet to my own knowledge.
Yeah.
But this is like one of those creepy pastas that I would say. And they
Yeah.
just find her. They just find her just dirt biking outside of the Los Angeles County.
It's just walking, just chilling. Yeah. Ran towards him as he passed by. Ugh. Wow.
13th of 2019, Carly was reported missing since October 13th of 2018. So it's approximately 9 months since her.
So when was this video published? Over a year ago. So she's been missing for already like 6 years.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So, do you believe in Bigfoot?
I think he's in Canada.
Yeah. Think he's chilling out in the nice cold weather?
You know what? I think he's yeah. 100%.
100%. Yeah. No doubt about it.
I think he's up in the middle of the woods in Canada.
Yeah. We you know, don't throw out information. You got to consider that Bigfoot may be real.
I like the I do enjoy the, you know, surrounding idea that, because it's like a tale old as time.
Yeah.
It's been around. How old has that been around for? Like since the
It's a good story.
1920s, 1930s, or how old has it been around for? Like late 1700s or something?
Earliest Bigfoot sighting.
Sasquatch.
1700s, it says.
Bigfoot 1700s. Okay, so according to, let's see here. I don't know what source this is, but also known as Sasquatch is a large, hairy, mythical creature that is said to inhabit forests in North America, particularly in the Pacific Northwest. The historical record of Bigfoot in the Oregon County begins in 1904 with sightings in the Oregon County.
Interesting.
Near the Coast Range.
See that, and it could just be like this thing that's chilling out.
That's a gorilla to me.
What do you think about that footage where he's just walking around like this?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. I thought, 100% that's a dude in a gorilla costume or something.
That's what I think. That's gotta be. There's no way that isn't.
Yeah. But I mean, if it did exist, it could be like this passive thing that's just chilling out, walking around like that and not bothering anybody.
When I go to heaven, I gotta ask God that.
Yeah.
I need to know.
Uh-huh.
I probably will never know.
Hey God, does Bigfoot exist? I need to know.
I'll probably ask Grandpa. Be like, dude,
He
know
said,
this
I
better
shot a
than anyone."
Bigfoot. I did once. Oh man, that's funny. Well, I guess the only other thing I have to talk about is politics.
I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but yeah, what's new in the world of politics at the moment? I've been kind of out of tune with it.
The only thing I have is this Putin. Oh yeah, we talked about it already, but we're gonna just do the quick disclaimer. Don't watch if you don't like politics. There you go. Making it extra short. We totally forgot last time, but here we go. Putin praised Donald Trump as clever and experienced. This was kind of interesting.
Они, действующая администрация,
The current administration wants to
хочет
create
создать для
difficulties, also
будущих
a possibility.
дополнительные сложности. Такое
He's a
тоже
quite clever and
возможно.
experienced man.
Но
I think he will
насколько,
find
насколько я себе
a solution
представляю,
to
вновь
the
избранного
solution to
президента, он
to the
все-таки
war.
человек умный, и достаточно уже опытный. Он, мне кажется, найдет решение. Тем более,
given that he's
после того,
reclaimed
как
the
он
White
прошел
House.
такое...
That's fun. That's funny. So he was like, "Oh yeah, since Donald Trump, he reclaimed the White House. He's he did it. He must be smart enough to be able to do that. So, and that's a difficult task. So he must be able to figure something out for the Russia-Ukraine war." I thought this was kind of interesting. Like,
You know what this reminds me of?
what?
You remember all the way back, and I think it was in February, I believe, when Tucker Carlson interviewed Vladimir
Oh, yeah.
Putin.
Mhm.
I don't know why. That just reminds me of that video. I
Yeah.
need to rewatch that interview again to see exactly what the contrast is between now and then. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
then at least it didn't seem like the possibility of a second, term with President Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed pretty unlikely. But things changed a lot within the last few months even. It was pretty insane. I don't know. To me the fact that it sounds like Putin has a lot of confidence in Trump. Maybe not so much in Biden. And maybe that has more to do with your girlfriend's in there. Maybe it has more to do with I don't know.
No,
Trump's-
the dog just passed gas.
Ew, gross. Oh my gosh. That's
She
funny.
doesn't like politics.
She doesn't like politics. She's farting to keep you out of the topic. Well, I don't know. It almost seems like Putin's a little overly chummy with Trump, but because there was that whole Russia scandal thing. I don't think any of that had any weight, but
He's Putin's puppet.
that's right. It's gotta be.
I
be true.
believe that. That's
Yeah.
my conspiracy theory. I
Yeah.
believe Russia interfered with the 2016 elections.
That's right. They did.
He got him to win. He
Yeah.
got him to win again, so that way he could win the war in Ukraine.
Definitely. Yeah.
That's obviously it.
Yeah. Negotiate for Russia to get all of Ukraine.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. This is all I had. I thought it was just kind of weird that, well, he didn't really have anything bad to say about Trump. Obviously.
Well, I will say this, before all this, I remember there was an interview that somebody did with him after, like, Tucker Carlson. He asked him, who do you think is going to win, or which opponent do you think is better? And he was like, Biden is more predictable.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah, I
thinking,
guess so.
and I don't know why.
Yeah, that was interesting too.
A lot of the mainstream news media praised him for that. They're like, well, see, this
That's a
comes
bad
to show
thing.
that Biden is a really strong person, and he's able to set good standards for the nations around the world. And I'm thinking, you really want your political leader to be predictable? Because if he's predictable,
You have no
then
leverage.
you have no leverage, and then on top of that, you're always going to be one step behind.
Yeah. See, and then this is, yeah, that was interesting. So like, Putin made it sound like he wanted Biden to win. Weird. And now he's praising Trump. Weird. And this is interesting. It says Putin spoke at a press conference. He actually, early in the video, at the very beginning, it says this. There's a possibility that the current administration is trying to cause troubles for the next one. And that's in reference to Biden allowing Ukraine to use the short-range missiles like we talked last week.
Yeah, okay. Little update on that, I
Yeah.
thought. I don't think they were nuclear warheads.
Are they not?
I'm being told that they aren't.
Ah.
Like, as more sources were coming out
Yeah.
within that week, I was being told that they're not nuclear warheads. They're just regular ballistic missiles.
Well, that's promising. That's a good thing.
Well, I mean, it's bad.
Yeah,
for
it's
one,
bad,
because
obviously, but it's a good thing that
killing
they're
each
not.
other, but yeah.
Yeah.
At least it's not nuclear.
Yeah.
It's bad, but it's not as bad.
Yeah, exactly. So,
So stupid to say, but
the whole dynamic, like we were talking about earlier, the whole dynamic with Russia is really complicated right now. And I don't think America has a very good idea of what's going on there. Frankly, I don't even know if Putin does, but we'll see. Honestly, I'm more excited than anything to see an end to the war in Ukraine.
Do you think within the first week he'll actually end that war within, like, a ceasefire within 24
That seems
hours?
unrealistic.
Do you think, or you think that's unrealistic?
It seems unrealistic. I think he'll get it done, but I don't think it'll be that fast.
First 100 days.
Maybe, yeah.
I think that's plausible.
That's plausible, yeah.
First month?
That's pushing it. That's pushing it, I think. I think even 100 days is pushing it a little bit.
45?
Yeah,
you really think 100 days is pushing it?
Just a little bit, yeah, because it's so complicated, and obviously for the war to end, there has to be a deal that's good enough for both parties, right?
You know, what I think is going to happen is they're going to sign some type of pact, or through diplomacy, of course, and Ukraine is going to have to give up some land back to Russia in order to, as like a peace settlement.
Yeah.
That's what I do think.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's
the
situation.
Thing. That's like that seems to me at least like the likely scenario.
That is the goal that Russia wanted to achieve. Taking some of Ukraine. Because they think it's theirs.
Yeah, that was my other thing too. A lot of people are doubtful of that.
Yeah.
Like, they want to take Ukraine all the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, most people have said that Russia is an imperialist nation. They want to gather up as much land as they can. And that's pretty common in human history. So that wouldn't surprise me if that were the case. And obviously they're attacking Ukraine for, it seems like, just that reason. They want Ukraine back. They want the land. So
Well, what was it? I remember on the interview with Tucker Carlson, he asked him if they had any interest in like Siberia, for example.
yeah,
That's I'm stupid. Country, right? Yeah? Am I dumb? There's a country right next to Russia. I forgot which country it was.
we are Americans. We're not good
We're
at
really
geography
stupid.
and,
We are really stupid. Or I'm stupid because
Google Maps.
I thought I had a
Oh.
Google Earth. I thought I had a Google Earth application. I may be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know how this war is gonna turn out. I really hope that it doesn't. It's not a
Kazakhstan, the
big
greatest
problem.
nation in the world.
Kazakhstan.
Did I say Siberia?
Yeah. Siberia makes me think of Adventure Communist.
It's North Asia. I'm stupid. I'm really stupid. Not a country. My gosh, it's a mountain range. It's a rural mountain range. Good grief,
Okay,
Nelson.
I don't know anything about it, so at least you,
I think it was Belarus, or how do you pronounce it?
Belarus.
Belarus? I think it
Yeah,
was Belarus. He was asking him about if he was ever gonna invade Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia,
yeah,
and he said something along the lines of, "We have no interest in any of these nations, and if they attacked us, we would wonder why to begin with. We have no interest in taking over their land or anything like that."
yeah.
But yeah,
Well, let's see.
we could have totally talked about Pripyat and everything because
Ooh,
it's
we're
right
doing
here.
good. We're right on time if we end it right here.
Yeah, I mean that's good. I mean, I I really do hope that for 2024 at least, it's going to, or not 2024,
5.
for starting of 2025,
Yeah,
things will turn for the better.
yeah. I really do too.
I do think we avoided a really dark time. I really do.
Potentially, yeah.
I'm optimistic.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to see where it'll go, and hopefully it goes the right way. Obviously,
Hopefully it goes for the better.
yeah. All right, well, that's it for this podcast. We appreciate you sticking with us. Once again, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you'd like. We did get up to 10 subscribers thanks to my little sister, so that was nice. Yeah,
Free.
it's
And that's
free.
a great price.
Yep, that's good old PewDiePie saying. Anyway, this is Logan, and
This is Nelson.
yep, thank you for joining us.